Hello, lovely students. Emma here. Today, we're going to talk about something that can feel a little bit scary, but is absolutely essential for your IELTS success: grammar. For example, grammar helps you write sentences like, "The sun rises in the east," or "She completed her assignment on time." I know, grammar can seem like a mountain of rules. But what if I told you that focusing on just a few key areas, like subject-verb agreement or using the right tense, could dramatically boost your writing score? For instance, he go to school versus he goes to school. Think of grammar not as a set of tricky rules designed to catch you out, but as a powerful toolkit. For example, using the correct tense lets you say, "I am studying for IELTS" instead of "I study for IELTS" when talking about right now. It's how you build clear, sophisticated sentences, like, "Although the task was difficult, she completed it successfully," or "Because it was raining, the match was postponed." These kinds of sentences show the examiner your range. A strong command of grammar is your secret weapon, allowing you to express your ideas with precision and confidence. For example, many people believe that technology improves lives, but others disagree. Your score in the IELTS writing section is based on 4 criteria, and one of those is grammatical range and accuracy. This accounts for a full 25% of your marks. For example, using both simple and complex sentences in your essay can help you score higher. That's a huge chunk, isn't it? Imagine you're building a house. Your vocabulary words are the bricks. Grammar is the mortar that holds them all together. For example, the quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog. Every word is in the right place because of grammar. So, getting your grammar right is the foundation for everything else in your essay. Let's get started on building that strong foundation for your writing success. Let's begin with the absolute basics, the different types of sentences you can use. The first type is the simple sentence. As its name suggests, it's quite simple. A simple sentence has one independent clause, which means it has one subject and one verb. It expresses a complete thought. For example, the graph shows data. Example, technology has changed our lives. Next up, the compound sentence. Your writing gets more interesting. A compound sentence has 2 or more independent clauses. You join them with a coordinating conjunction. For and nor but or yet so now, the complex sentence, it helps you score higher. A complex sentence has one independent clause and at least one dependent clause. It depends on the independent clause to make sense. Although, because, while, since, when, as we just touched on, complex sentences are your ticket to a higher band score in the grammatical range and accuracy category. Why is that? Because they allow you to express more complicated relationships between ideas. Cause and effect, contrast, concession, all within a single, elegant sentence. This demonstrates a higher level of cognitive and linguistic skill. Imagine you are writing about the benefits of remote work. You could write 2 simple sentences. Remote work offers flexibility. It can sometimes lead to loneliness. This is okay, but it's very basic. Now let's combine them into a complex sentence. Although remote work offers significant flexibility, it can sometimes lead to feelings of loneliness for employees. Can you feel the difference? The second version is much more sophisticated. The word although immediately tells the reader that you are going to present a contrasting idea, showing your ability to handle nuanced arguments. Let's switch gears and talk about the passive voice. The passive voice is an incredibly useful tool, especially for IELTS Writing Task 1. So, what is it? In an active sentence, the subject performs the action. For example, the company built a new factory. In a passive sentence, the subject receives the action. For example, a new factory was built by the company. Notice how the focus shifts from the doer, the company, to the receiver, the factory. This shift is why the passive voice fits the formal, objective tone of Task 1. In Task 1, you often describe a process, a map, a graph. Who performed the action is often unknown or unimportant. The important thing is the action or result itself. For example, when describing a diagram of how coffee is made, you don't care who picks the beans or who roasts them. The process is the star. So you would write, first the coffee beans are picked and then they are dried. The passive voice keeps your description objective and professional. Mastering the passive voice will make your Task 1 report sound authentic and help you secure a higher score. Now let's move on to Task 2 and talk about a fantastic group of verbs called modal verbs. Can, could, will, would, should, may, might, they are helper verbs that add extra meaning to the main verb. Expressing your opinion, making suggestions, talking about possibilities in your Task 2 essay. Using modals allows you to soften your claims and avoid making overly strong, unsupported generalizations. This shows the examiner that you are a thoughtful and careful writer. When presenting an argument in Task 2, you want to sound reasonable, not aggressive or dogmatic. Instead of "governments will solve this problem," which sounds very certain, you can use a modal verb to be more cautious. Governments could take steps to solve this problem. This approach might lead to a positive outcome. Using could or might shows you're suggesting a possibility, not stating an absolute fact. This nuanced language is a hallmark of high-level academic writing and will impress the examiner. Modal verbs are perfect for giving advice or making suggestions in problem and solution essays. Now that we've covered some big grammar structures, let's talk about the details that give your writing that final polish: consistency and parallelism. Consistency simply means keeping your grammar choices the same throughout your essay. For example, if you are writing about events in the past, you should primarily use past tenses. Switching randomly between past and present tense for the same event can confuse the reader and make your writing look sloppy. For example, in Task 1, if you write, "Sales increased in 2018 but then they fall in 2019, the tense shift from increased, past, to fall, present, is an error. It should be, "Sales increased in 2018 but then they fell in 2019. This consistency also applies to your point of view. In a Task 2 essay, you might use "we" to refer to society in general. For example, "We need to address the issue of climate change." That's perfectly fine, but you should stick with it. Don't suddenly switch to "you" or "one" in the next sentence, like, "You should recycle more." "One should recycle more." This inconsistency can be jarring for the reader. Choose a perspective and maintain it throughout your paragraphs. This small detail contributes to the overall coherence and cohesion of your essay, making it easier for the examiner to follow your line of reasoning from beginning to end. So there you have it. We have journeyed through some of the most crucial grammar hacks that can truly elevate your IELTS writing score. By viewing grammar as your toolkit, you can strategically build sentences that impress the examiner. We saw how moving beyond simple sentences and learning to construct compound and complex sentences allows you to connect ideas in a much more sophisticated and academic manner. Task 1, Task 2. We then delved into the specific tools for each task. We discovered how the passive voice is your secret weapon for Task 1, allowing you to write formal, objective reports about processes, maps, graphs by focusing on the action rather than the doer. For the more argumentative Task 2, we learned how to use modal verbs should, could, might to express opinions, offer solutions, discuss possibilities. Using these structures correctly shows the examiner that you can adapt your language to suit the specific requirements of the writing task you are facing.